Hi guys, Mr. Man here. It's time for this week's art, and this week on April 22nd it will be Earth Day. So I thought it would be neat to combine the Earth Day theme with our art project for this week, or if it goes into next week. This art project kind of shows Earth's ecosystem. Earth has many different ecosystems that work together to make life possible. And Earth is the only planet in our solar system where life can happen the way we know it. And it's because these ecosystems make things, make our environment hospitable for life. So anyway, if you look at ecosystems like, for instance, the oceans are important ecosystems because all the life they contain and how they affect our weather and climate. The plains and grasslands are an important ecosystem for farming and agriculture to provide the food that we need. Forest ecosystems provide habitat for wild animals, provide natural resources like lumber, and help supply our atmosphere with oxygen. Our mountain and Arctic region ecosystems help feed our fresh water supply on the planet. So it's important that all these kind of work together. So I found this really cool work of art online that kind of shows this in a simple image. So I'm going to show you how to make that. I'll stop this and give you a better view of my paper and show you how to get started. Okay, so I'm going to use my paper horizontally, and first thing I need to do is to make a circle that is going to be our ecosystems of Earth. It's going to be like our window into the ecosystems. So I just found a lid, a round lid for my kitchen that was for a Tupperware container, and I can put that down on the paper and trace it. I'm using pencil to start with. So I trace around the circle, and I need to move a little bit, get rid of that little bump out from how you peel the lid off the container. There. There's my circle. So now within that, I want to show these ecosystems. So to show like an ocean ecosystem, you could show some kind of wave marks, right? And we could put things in there like there could be a starfish. And a happy little fish here. Doesn't have to be too detailed. Okay, and that is going to meet up with, it's kind of a sandy beach area, and then we have an area where there are forest, trees, green space. So I can just do this and do the old puffy top tree, that. Do a pine tree here. And some more trees here. Do another big one here. Little pine. Like that. And then I'm going to sneak in, there's some farm fields here. Just some little rows that are going to be represent agriculture. I'm going to put a ground line that comes behind those trees. And I'm going to put like another kind of line that comes down, and another hill that goes over here. And this is like green space, but less less trees. Like in between the forested areas and the Arctic areas are tundra and taiga, where there's not many trees, but bush. There. Now in the back is where I have my spiky mountains representing the mountain and Arctic ecosystem. There, so it's all drawn in pencil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on pencil work in the background. So this represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really kind of ecosystems on Earth, and Earth is in some kind of a solar system. So what they did is showed some planets around. So Saturn is really recognizable, so I'm just going to do kind of a Saturn here in this corner. And we can do the sun here in this corner. So, light coming out of the sun. And then over here, I'm going to do, I think I'll just do another planet. Make this Mars, the red planet. And then over here, I'll just do some stars like this. There, that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go over everything with black marker so you can really see my design before we start talking about color. Okay, so I've got everything outlined in black, and you can see my little celestial Earth with my ecosystems and Sun and Saturn and Mars and a star. And now I'm going to start to put the color in there. So I'm just using Mr. Sketch markers, and I'll go with a light blue and put in where the water is, the ocean. It's nice to kind of follow the black outlines, and then once you have that outlined with blue, then the inside part is easy. You don't have to be quite as careful. I can do that same technique around the star here. Like that. And I would keep going there, coloring the starfish and the fish. I use yellow for the sand of the beach, where that ocean ecosystem meets land. A lot of important life there with seabirds and clams and things like that, crabs. Yeah, and then I would get into the next area where I could use this green for my grass around my forest area. Forest helps make oxygen, keep the atmosphere healthy, and is habitat for all of our friends, many of whom we have caught on camera right at school with our trail cams. Anyway, I'm going to stop this video and bring it back after I have more done and show you what I would do next. Okay guys, so I've got my whole Earth ecosystem kind of focal point colored in with marker. I've got my, oh I forgot, my starfish and my fish. You forget them. Oh, this fish is going to be, it's going to be a red fish. Alright, so there's all that. my ecosystems and everything, and did that with marker. So now I'm going to color in the sun and Saturn and Mars, and they could be anything. It doesn't have to be the sun. You could do anything you want, but the idea here is to show like outer space around the Earth, our home. So I'm going to use crayon to color these in it, and I'll explain why. Because for the space, I'm going to use some watercolor paint, which you might not have at home, but for me, I like to use the crayon because the watercolor won't bleed into crayon because of the fact that it's waxy. So I'm going to start with, I'll start with the sun, which I want to be yellow and orange. So I think I'll just use like a little bit of orange along the outside. And I'll fade that to yellow. Put a little bit of yellow on those lines. This is the light coming from the sun. The light and the heat energy coming from the sun. Alright, so there's that. So now I could do, I don't know, Saturn. So Saturn is going to be purple. I'm going to switch colors and make it lighter on that side. Switch to this. It's a two-tone planet. That's cool. Make it lighter on the side where the sun's rays are hitting it. And I'll use orange for the rings. Will stand out. It's bright. Alright, and I would do the same thing with down at the bottom. So I'm going to stop the video and I'll bring it back and show you the last. Okay, so you can do this differently. You could just color this in with marker or crayon if you don't have any watercolor paint. But if you do, I did these little stars with white crayon, and then when you paint, they kind of just appear. It's kind of neat. And I'm just using some purple and blue, and it won't go into, if that's too dark, I can add some water to thin it out. It is space though, so I don't mind that it's a little dark. I don't have to worry about the crayon, the planets on the outside, because it won't go into that, but it will go into my Earth. So I do have to kind of be careful there because that's marker and it will bleed into that if I'm not careful. But this kind of creates a cool background. It would be a nice way to finish this off. So you get the idea. So I'm going to stop the video and I'll bring it back when it's done. Okay, so I finished coloring in all my background and painting in the outer space background around there, and it's all complete. So there's Earth's ecosystem. Happy Earth Day. Until we meet again. Bye, guys.